All right. You want to touch just a little bit on last week, kind of the end of the homestand. We had Western Illinois and St. Thomas, and then now we're back on the road heading north.
Yeah. So I think it was a good last week for us in a lot of ways and a lot of learning moments along with that too. So obviously Thursday was a game that we wanted to come out and certainly try and take care of the ball better and play better than we did the first round against Western Illinois. And I really feel like we did that. We really started to blow it open in the second quarter, I think, with our defense and just getting a lot of stops and continuing to be pretty efficient on the offensive end. And it was good by the end of it to see, four players in double figures and for Carly to again have a good game. And I feel like we got their starting post player in foul trouble, which was a good thing for us because we were able to pound the ball a little bit more inside, a little bit easier than we did the first time around because of her. So I think that was a key moment. But again, it was good to see progress and to see us and how much we've grown since the first round against them. And then on Saturday against St. Thomas, it felt like a lot of learning moments there. Certainly don't think that we took them lightly. We talked a lot about that team being a really sound basketball team, the best defensive team in the league as far as points goes, and a team that is coming off of wins against Oral Roberts and UMKC at home. Really everybody has struggled to play at their home gym, and then came in and they were really motivated and ready to go. So, when we watched that film, didn't really feel like it was one glaring thing. Really felt like there was a couple different things that really just all added up. So, transition points we gave up. Again, none of these numbers were glaring, but it was like 7 points in transition, and we gave up, too many offensive rebounds from 10 second chance points. And I just don't think that we made shots. And I think that they did. And they shot the ball incredibly well, really, up until the fourth quarter, when it really flipped the story really fast. But up until then, I think we tracking layups is something that we do throughout the game. And at halftime, we were able to tell our team we were 7 of 17 from layups, and that's just not going to get it done. By the end of the game, we were 15 of 32. And so just missed too many opportunities there. And it just felt like whatever mistakes we made, they went and capitalized on. And that's what good teams do. That's what motivated teams do. They shot the ball, again, better than they have in a lot of games this year. And I think they're going to win a lot more games if they play like that. It's just a really tough team. So I think we showed a lot of resiliency, to be down 20, 22 actually, fourth quarter, and to battle back on a 15-0 run. I think it showed a lot of heart, and we've showed that a couple of times this year. I just unfortunately think it was too big of a hole, and then we made a couple of key errors down the stretch there to really close it out. But we stay the course. We have another great opportunity here this week with two really good teams, both who play really well at home. But I think we draw confidence from the first round games against these teams, knowing that we have continued to get better. And we continue to stress that to our players. We spent a lot of time yesterday on skill development, because I think that that's something that gets lost in the shuffle this time of year. And at the end of the day, it's about making plays. It's about, the abilities that you have to make shots and to deliver a pass and to defend the right way. And all that is skill. And so we really got back to basics yesterday. And I think we're pretty motivated here for the weekend ahead.
Thank you. Go ahead, Michael.
Hey Kayla, two more 10 rebound doubles for Grace. I mean, how has her rebounding really grown this year? I mean, and obviously it's pretty unbelievable numbers for a guard.
Yeah, she's really stepped up in that category. Obviously, when you look at her stat line and what she averaged here just in this last week, which we had the 3 games, it's just impressive the impact that she's making on the game in so many different categories. And she's putting herself really in a whole different category from everybody else. And so her rebounding has been a huge benefit, for our team. And I think she's really one that she's so active, and I really, you can tell by watching her play, loves to get out and run. So if she can go and secure a rebound and the ball's already in her hands, then she's the one that gets to push the pace. But just her mindset to go and pursue rebounds is really so important, and she's really improved in that area.
I know that you guys have been playing a little bit shorthanded lately. Are you expecting any help with in the health department anytime soon?
No, unfortunately, no. We're planning to go in with 8 this weekend.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think St. Thomas was in the league your first go around at USD. What have been your impression at of their facilities and just sort of their program, just how they've come together?
Well, no, they weren't in league prior, and I have a lot of respect for Coach Sin. I think I've gotten to know her just through recruiting and just Midwest coaches. You just draw those connections, and I really respect her. I think she does so much. I mean, clearly her record speaks for itself, but I just think what she does with her players, I think she's just a really smart coach. And I think out of you can look at the different pieces and look at talent level. I think what they do so well is they play really hard, and she has them playing really hard, and they have this great mindset about them that they came in Saturday fearless, especially after what happened to them on Thursday. So for them to be able to regroup like that, and to come in and just to really believe again that they can go out and get a win. That's how they've been playing lately. And I know their conference record doesn't show that, but I think they're going to win a handful more games here just because of how hard they play. So yeah, I've got a lot of respect for her. I think it's an up and coming program, and I think she's going to lead them in the right direction.
And obviously, Walker had a bit of an uneven these past couple games, but she seems like she's gotten a little bit more aggressive as the season gone along. I mean, what have been your impressions on just sort of how she looks for shots and like how she's kind of come along as the season's gone on?
Yeah, well, her and I have been connecting here a lot lately because, it's think about just her right now she's really a high school senior, but she's not. She's here, and not only is she here, and she came here to learn and to get better, which she wasn't going to have, as big of an opportunity to do that back in high school. And now she gets here, and now there's nobody older in front of her playing in the same position. And there's this piece of it that's it doesn't show up in a box score. It's not objective. You don't have this number in front of you that's she learned XYZ from this player, but she is learning on the fly completely. We're throwing her into the starting lineup and asking her to defend Langbin on Saturday, who's a great post player with great size. I don't care what level she was recruited at. She's a skilled player. She understands the game, and there's that piece of it where Walker's got to learn on the fly, and there's nobody really in front of her to start the game like Janiyah was at the beginning of the year. Show her how it's done, teach her the ropes. She's doing it all, with our coaching staff, trying to teach her along the way and try to get bits and pieces from a player here or there. It's such a challenge, is my point. I think what she has done this year has been remarkable considering all those things. Is she shooting or finishing as well as she wants to? I don't know. I don't believe so. And certainly we know she's capable of more, but we've been talking a little bit lately about just more of her skill development. And she's got to get more comfortable with some different post moves and learning a different ways to score, because she has her comfort zone, and she really reverts back to that quite often. But, just with her ability to rebound and her skill level on the offensive end, she's going to be a good player. It's just taking that time. And I think what we're seeing is just a little inconsistency. I think the first 4 conference games, everyone was really pumped about her and kept talking about her. And now she really hasn't been a focal point here the last few games. Doesn't mean she's played poorly. It just means she's not maybe scoring it the way she wants to. And it's getting harder because teams are scouting her better, and she's continuing to develop and work on it. So I think the sky's the limit for her. I just think she's in that learning curve right now, and we're throwing her in the fire.
Obviously, last time around that you had North Dakota State got them in Vermillion, which is obviously a much more favorable environment. But road conference wins are always a big deal. But that North Dakota tour, how much bigger of a deal would it be to get those 2 wins this weekend?
Yeah, well, we just focus on one at a time. And I really believe that this league it's a challenge every single night. I don't care who you play. I don't care where you are. Certainly it's been tougher on the road for everybody. And we know that. And those are 2 really good programs. So they draw really good crowds, and we've always been a rival here for a long time. And so we know that it means a lot to those fans up there. So it's going to be a tough environment. But I've said, earlier in the year, even that we've done a good job of sticking together on the road. It hasn't always come up, in favorable situations or favorable outcomes. But we've stuck together. We showed a lot of resiliency at Western Illinois, battling back, and at Omaha, we were down 13 in the first half and battled back. And so I think we've shown that the ability to stick together, and I think we're definitely going to need that this weekend. These are two good teams, and playing on the road always has its challenges.
Okay, that's all I got.
Awesome. Thank you, Michael, for joining us. Kayla, thank you for being flexible.
Thanks, Michael. Can I leave you with one fun fact? We're going to put this out, I think, on social media, but it's not out yet. But we're one of two programs in the whole country that the top 5 leading scorers on the team are either freshmen or sophomores.
One of two teams where say that one more time for me.
Where the top 5 leading scorers on our team are either freshmen or sophomores.
They're all 5?
All 5.
Wow.
Whoa.
Man,
so I got to get a better research staff in here, guys. Come on. Kayla is just dropping.
Just the youth of our team, and just the opportunities that they have that a lot of freshmen and sophomores don't get. That's what I talked to Walker about this morning. You're getting an opportunity, but it just speaks to the youth. And honestly, it speaks to just this point where we're at right now, I think shows a lot of heart for how young they are, and how much they're just willing to go out and play hard. So
there you go, Michael.
I got.
Awesome.
Now, your job, Michael, from here till Thursday is to figure out who the other team is and report back.
Oh, it shouldn't be that hard. If you know
Awesome.
the Midwest, it shouldn't be that hard.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
There you go. She's eliminated some. Now he's
Challenge.
a New Yorker, so
There's your challenge.
Okay.
that does eliminate a lot of schools out east, though, Michael. So
I'll get to it.
All
Thanks,
right.
Michael.
Thank you.
All right.
Record. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Coach. Why don't you, if you want to touch briefly on last night, that's great. But I know we got 2 home games coming up this week.
Yeah. So obviously Oral Roberts is really good. We talked about that last week. They're a team that I feel like could win some games in the NCAA tournament if they get there. And, based on their schedule, if they don't win the Summit League tournament, there's still a strong chance that they can make the NCAA tournament. Their 4 losses: Houston, at Houston. Obviously, Houston's really good. At St. Mary's, I played at St. Mary's. Really hard to win at St. Mary's. At Utah State, I coached at Utah State. It's really hard to win at Utah State. And then the Pit in New Mexico. So those are their 4 losses. Really, really good team. They have everything from size to athleticism to really strong playmaking guards that can shoot it from anywhere. Gave up 18 threes last night. They shot it extremely well, probably the best I've seen them shoot it this year. But a really, really good team, right? And where there's some things we probably do differently, for sure. But when you play, 3 games in, 6 days, like that's a tough stretch to have them on the tail end of that. So really, really good team. A lot of respect for them and what they built there. Saw Paul and his team when they first got in the league. I think that was year 3 for us, to see where their program's going from then to now. It's night and day, and they've done a really, really good job. So they played really well. We played very poorly, and I think you could see the difference in the score showed that, and the percentages. So tough game going into this week. We'll continue. We got the 5-game and 10-day stretch, which is not ideal, but we know we have a very good North Dakota State team coming in here with, they're playing a lot better. Had a rough non-conference schedule where they're just trying to figure some things out. And once they got in the league, started winning some games and getting some more confidence. And they have, one of the best players in the league in Grant Nelson, who I think has a chance to play in the NBA at some point in his career. I think he's that good. They have a very good low post scorer in Morgan as well. So their strength is their 4 and 5, and their guards are getting better every single time they play. So that'll be a tough challenge for us. And then obviously UND on the tail end, a team that I feel like has gotten better throughout the season. They've been close. They just haven't gotten over that hump yet. So we know it'll be a challenging week coming back from Oral Roberts. We got back at 7:30 this morning, and we practice here shortly, a short practice, but just trying to prep our guys for the North Dakota State game. So obviously a tough week, and a week we're looking forward to, having a couple games at home.
Thanks. Go ahead, Michael. Questions?
Yeah, I wasn't prepared to carry the Zoom, so you might be out here pretty quick. But
Oh, you're good.
But yeah, I mean, yesterday obviously got out of hand pretty quick. I mean, was there a point of yesterday's game where you kind of accept where you're at and just, maybe take this as a day to recalibrate, and then, just you're going to work over everything in practice and going forward?
Yeah, obviously the first half it didn't go as I expected, but they guarded us very, very well, and we turned the ball over. So when you turn the ball over and just feed them direct points off turnovers, that's how it gets out of hand really, really quickly. And they were making shots. So I mean, there was a point in the second half where we just made a commitment to playing some young guys and letting them get some minutes. It's like, hey, can you climb back in and get it to 25 or 20, or is it worth it just to rest some of your top guys and even out the minutes and let some of those young guys play? And we were at that point, and I thought it was important for our young guys to play in a game like that, to see, hey, this is how good we need to get. This is how good we need to be. What they have is what we want, right? We want to be at that level, and we aren't right now. So I think it was good experience for our younger guys to see that, guys that will have an effect on our program for the next 3 years.
You obviously mentioned Grant Nelson, last night playing Asmus, and also Massner for Western Illinois. Playing that type of individual talent, what does that teach you about your team?
Yeah, you always, I mean, you never try to make it about one guy when you go into a game. Those three guys you mentioned are really, really good players. I would go back to, you got Massner at Western. You have Andrew Rohde, who's going to be a star in our league from St. Thomas. I've seen him play for a long time, just being a Wisconsin kid. He's a really, really good player as well. Two guys I think had 50 points against us against St. Thomas, but we didn't make it about that. We made it about defending as a team, right? You can focus on one guy, but we know good teams have other good players as well. So, and then you go to Max at Oral Roberts, but they have a good team. They have players that, 3 or 4 players any night could score 20 to 25 points a game. So it's got to be about our team. Nelson's a little bit different because he's more of a 4-man, right? Those other guys are guards. And so you prepare a little bit differently for a guy like Nelson. He's shooting the ball much better than he did in the non-conference. And, if he can shoot it really, really consistently, he'll have a chance to play at the highest level. There's no doubt about it. So our prep with them is a little bit different because he is a 4-man. Their strength is their 4 and their 5. So we got to be great inside and not just giving up easy catches in the post or giving him easy looks in the post, because he is 6'10" and can do a lot of things with his size and his length.
You've mentioned Grant getting some NBA buzz too, and obviously he's getting some love on Twitter and stuff, with people just really enjoying his game. I mean, what does that do for the league? Is that something that's good for the league overall?
Yeah, I think it's really good for the league. Really good selling points to just, we sell people on Matt Mooney played in the NBA. Stanley Amude is having a great career in the G League right now and should have a chance to get bumped up at some point in his career. Tyler Hagedorn, I was out at the summer league when I was coaching at Utah State one year, and I just look on the roster, and Tyler Hagedorn's playing with the Lakers, their summer league team. So I think it's good to sell any of that stuff. I think our league is much better this year. If you look at the numbers, it's significantly better top to bottom. You look at, okay, Oral Roberts is in first place, but the middle is kind of wide open right now. It's a log jam there. So anytime you can sell that. I haven't seen much on Twitter. I don't check Twitter a ton, but I've been at the NBA Combine. I've been at the NBA Summer League and seeing Grant Nelson play. There's no doubt about it. He's got a chance to play at that level.
Yeah. We talked about Mason last week. Last couple games, it seems like the switch that he's made is sort of it's probably going to be permanent. Are you feeling that way too, where he's just playing with a different level of confidence now?
Yeah, Mason's been great for us. He's been one of our better offensive players over the last few games, and then he is our best perimeter defender right now. He always guards the other team's best perimeter player. So when you watch us play, you take out Oral Roberts, right? So out of the last 4 games since we lost at home to Denver, if you look at those other 3 games, I think we're playing our best basketball, right? We didn't against Oral Roberts, but those other 3 games, we played really well. At Western, we were great on offense. We were just okay on defense, but Western's won 6 of the last 7, and we had a chance to score, in the final 5 seconds or 10 seconds to you potentially win the game, right? On the road, which is impressive. You go to St. Thomas. St. Thomas was 10-0 at home. We beat them and played really, really well on both ends. You go back to the Omaha game. I thought we were great on both ends, right? And when you watch those games, it's very clear to see, Michael, that Mason doesn't want his season to end and Damani doesn't want his season to end. And who are our two seniors? Those two guys. So sometimes when it gets late in their career, a flip just kind of switches like, hey, I got to be better. I don't want to go out like this. We have to be better. And those two guys have really uplifted our team.
Just general health. How's everything going with the team?
General health is, I don't know how we're probably pretty tired, right? And I think these next 2 days we'll have a chance where we don't do a ton of stuff at practice to try to get that back. But I mean, anytime you try to play 5 games in 10 days, there's probably some wearing down of the players. But nobody said anything. No one's made any excuses. No one said, Coach, I'm tired. Guys are going to come out and compete every single day at practice and every time we play. So no major injuries, if that's what you're asking.
Okay. Yep, that's all I got.
I'm fatigued, Michael, but that's okay. I don't have to play the game. So
Me too. So
Coach, I'll let you out on this one. Saturday, we're on it's Native American game, and I know that's important for Mason. I know you weren't here last year, but it's certainly a big deal, and we expect it to be again this year. North Dakota has a starter that also comes from that type of background, and I think Jaron Duffy, our marketing guy, said over 600 people have kind of registered for that day. Could you speak just a little bit about that part of it, and with Mason and the culture and that game?
Yeah, I think it's a huge part of South Dakota, in our culture at South Dakota, in our history, right? I think we have 300 Native American students at South Dakota, over 9 tribal nations. And from my understanding, we have over 700 tickets requested for the game. 300 middle school and high school students will be at the game that are Native Americans. And we have 12 former and current Native American athletes on our campus with, just when you look at the total. So I think it's really, really important. I don't know who started this day to honor the Native Americans at our games, but I think it's really important for the history of South Dakota to do something like this. And Trayson Eaglestaff is the player from North Dakota. I don't know if that's a coincidence that we picked that, but I know it means a lot to Mason. And when we had our Native American Day this fall, it's something that we talked about. Some people call it Columbus Day. We call it Native American Day. I think we're the first state to do that or to recognize that out of any state in the U.S. So we talked a lot about it this fall, and let Mason speak a little bit to the team as well. So I understand how important it is. He does as well. And I guess our goal is to make other people aware of how important this game and that date is to our state.
Thanks, Eric. Appreciate that. Appreciate you getting up early, up late, whatever it is, to spend some time with us. And yeah, exactly. It's not game day. I know that. Not yet.
No.
So